Hello, you guys. So, thank you for watching me. This is Authentically Lee. And I have been thinking about a topic for quite some time now when it came to starting when it comes to starting my YouTube channel. And I took a couple of notes here because I want to talk about something I've asked myself, and I know the answer to it, but I had to do a little research. So the question is, can I start a YouTube channel while working a full time job? I have a full time job, and my channel is starting out small. This is a small channel. I don't have any viewers right now. I just started it up last week. And that question has come across my mind because although I'm going to be authentically Lee and I'm going to be real, I'm going to talk about some things, topics when it comes to relationships, when it comes to life, when it comes to life over 50, when it comes to raising adult children. My son is an adult, but there's still interaction there from a mommy mode. So I did ask myself, can I do this while working a full-time job? And so it's just been on my mind. So I decided to start this, since I decided to start this channel, and I want to kind of talk about it and get your thoughts and your opinions. When I think about saying something like, or when I think about the question, can you start a YouTube channel, while working a full-time job, I basically mean legally and professionally and obviously morally too. I do have a full-time job that I take very seriously, but I also feel strong about, felt really strong in the urge or the strong urge to create something of my own. And that is my channel. So this is basically my channel to just tell my story, to connect with people, to also just, maybe even help someone else, who's wanting to, start this process. But before I, film anything of substance, I have to ask myself those few important questions. So one of my questions is, and let me just get my notes here. My first question is, am I allowed to do this? My second one is, could this cause issues at work? How do I keep things respectful and yet separate? So here's what I found out. I did a little research, and there are 4 things that I have come up with and just decided to just kind of stick by. The first one is you got to check your contract. You got to check your job contract. Look for anything familiar or anything about, social media, side businesses, public content, that type of thing. You definitely want to make sure that you are adhering to the contract that you signed up for when you started your job. Second, you don't want to use work time or work devices or anything company related to help your channel. Okay, everything that I purchased, I did for my channel: my camera, my microphone, my earbuds. I don't use a company laptop or anything like that. So nothing to support this channel is being used from any of my company devices or work material. Third, you want to protect people's privacy. That just means like no naming your company that you work for, your coworkers, don't name those guys, or even your clients ever. Like you just don't want to do that. You never know who's watching this channel all over. It could grow, hopefully with blessings, it will grow. But there are some people that might see this channel and you've never even met them, but they actually work at your company. And you could be just talking about something, indirectly, and it might be telling a story, basically gossip from the company. And someone might see this and may feel that that topic is related to them personally, something that has happened in the company. So you definitely don't want to do that. So you want to protect people's privacy. And then fourth, you want to include like a simple disclaimer. I thought about that and I'm like, well, what could I actually say, maybe posting on my channel that might be a disclaimer that, before I post anything. And it's like, I don't know, you could probably say something like, these are my personal views or my personal opinion, and in no way, shape, form, or fashion the opinion of my company, or it's not connected to my employer or something like that. So I'm definitely looking to add a disclaimer before I post anything that might teeter over into a topic that may be, relative to my company, which I don't plan to do. And then finally, you want to avoid conflicts of interest. So like if your content overlaps with your day-to-day job or your job in a competitive way, that's definitely a red flag. It might be a red flag. So you might want to just adhere to making sure that your content does not overlap to your job or the things that you do at your job. So those are the four top, or not really four topics, but those are kind of like the four things that stand out to me when it comes to my thoughts in terms of my job and what, I need to keep separate as it relates to my content. So now let's talk about the moral side, not morale, but moral side of the things, because we all know that that matters too. So I asked myself, am I being honest? Am I coming with integrity? Am I sharing my story without dragging anyone else into it? And my answer to all of this is yes, I have integrity. I'm being honest. And I'm not sharing, my story and bringing other folks into it as characters or bringing other characters into it that that actually works with me. So, my answer is yes. Again, I can talk about life and relationships and things like that, but I can also do those things without disrespecting my job or anyone else, if that makes sense. So basically, I plan to be honest. I'm going to be real. I'm going to keep it 100% real because that's why it's authentically Lee. But I'm also going to be respectful and professional at the same time. So, because I do believe you can create content and have a full-time job at the same time. I just feel that way. People do it all the time. And, that's something that, I strongly believe in. So I don't know how far this channel is going to go. But if you've ever thought about doing something like this, I would definitely love to hear your feedback. Maybe drop a note in the comments. Maybe a thought that I didn't really think about that could probably help me along the way. And definitely like and subscribe to this channel if it's something that resonates with you. I'm looking for feedback. I'm looking for, some thoughts and ideas. My content is not gonna, it's gonna grow into something that's meaningful to me. I'm not just gonna be out filming every little thing that I see. I mean, I was literally at dinner Thursday night. It wasn't dinner. I was just out with a couple of friends on Thursday night. And one of the persons there was just like, don't film me. Don't turn that on. I don't want to be a part of that. And I'm like, well, their example was, I could be in a witness protection program and, I'm on your channel and someone sees my face and, there it is. My cover's blown. And I say, with no disrespect, I just say that, first of all, if you're in a witness protection program, you probably shouldn't be out here because people film everywhere. You're going to be seen everywhere. There are cameras everywhere. So that really wasn't a good comeback in terms of why they didn't want to be filmed. But I didn't want to put them on camera, but I did want to document and kind of create content about what we were talking about. It was 3 women, including myself, and 1 male. And we were talking about signs or astrology. We were talking about how that relates to people and how they get along and how they connect. And I didn't have the camera on anybody, but I had the recording there on the table. And we were just kind of, trying to get one's thoughts and opinions. So it wasn't that big of a deal. But if someone, says that they don't want to be filmed, I respectfully, won't film them or won't put the face in the camera. But I'm definitely going to talk about what I want to talk about. If it's going to be my content and the things that I've experienced, I have every right to design my channel that way. I have every right to post that content. I have every right, as long as I'm not putting, a person's, face in the camera. They do know that they're being recorded. And I kept telling her that. I'm like, well, I'm recording this, and so you probably shouldn't talk. I don't know. I don't know what to say to that. But I do respect folks' privacy, definitely. But I also experience my own, I also have my own life experiences as I go through this journey. So no one's going to tell me, what I can and cannot do in terms of what I'm creating. This is basically talking about me and my experiences. I'm authentically Lee. This is my DNA, and I'm the blueprint. And that's just that. So that's just that on that. All right. But I do hope you guys subscribe. Thank you. Thank you all for watching. I hope you drop me some comments and just let me know how I can get better at this. Okay. Again, let's just join this journey together. All right. Bye.